Am I going to talk about ideology once again? Yes, for sure. So my husband and I, we've been rereading Althusser, some of the Althusserian works, the ones that I mentioned already, the Ideology and Ideological Institutions. It's a pretty short work. I recommend everybody reads it. It's pretty enlightening because it shows you that ideology is not just the justification of the economic production or a type of economic production. It is more than that, and it is something that becomes absolutely intertwined. It actually arises out of necessity, so it's going to keep on accompanying any kind of an economic production, whether we like it or not. We cannot just ignore it. So some people in the modern Marxist circles, some people are really against ideological talk because they think it is diverting our attention from the topic at hand, which is the economy. And of course, the economy, the existing conditions of production, they are going to be crucial in deciding on how we live our lives. But the belief systems that accompany that are also going to be vastly important. And I personally believe, and as I shared before, that a lot of socialist projects are going to fail because they're not engaging in enough ideological analysis as well. Because these two have to happen simultaneously, as I keep on insisting, ideological work and the work on liberation and reclaiming the means of production. This work is one and the same. It has to happen at the same time. And a lot of people associate ideological work with just talking and theorizing, but talking and theorizing become practice when you start embodying those truths that you uncover in the process of talking and analyzing certain aspects of being. And this becomes apparent when you notice a lot of the people falling for the same old traps over and over again, divide and conquer, all of those old tropes that people even use in movies and books time and time again, yet we still fall for the same traps. We still start believing all these fear-mongering narratives, all these conspiracy theories. But what we should be doing instead is understanding that ideology is not just a set of firm beliefs. Ideology is the way we imagine the relations of production and the way we imagine the social relations. Meaning that it is almost like a collective projection. We see what aligns with our perception of the world that we received previously. So it's like we are beginning to selectively notice things that only matter to support our belief systems. And yes, a lot of you will recognize this as confirmation bias. And yes, confirmation bias is absolutely ideological. And of course, everybody, no matter how progressive their ideology is going to fall for confirmation bias. It's not the confirmation bias we should be trying to avoid. It is the analysis that we should be applying time and time again. Every single day, we should be analyzing the little things we do. Not over-analyzing, but just gathering this information and taking it into account. For example, you have a conversation with somebody, they said something that you didn't like, you just take note of that. And maybe later that evening you think, why didn't I like it? And then reflect and see, maybe they said something that reminded you of something that was told to you in childhood. No, we're not going to go back to the childhood trauma again, but it oftentimes may be such a thing, or maybe it touched upon some of your insecurities. Maybe it is something that is worth examining. Maybe you forgot about this little interaction and it doesn't really matter. Then fine, don't even think about it. I'm not telling you to brood, just as I mentioned before, but what I am encouraging is I'm encouraging you to critically think about not only the conditions on the outside, but the conditions on the inside as well. Because we humans are mirrors of what we observe in the world, but we are not accurate mirrors. We do not mirror the absolute truth. We mirror very selectively, and we mirror because we have been shaped in a certain way. And if we want to change the way we mirror, we will have to do this work very consciously. It may happen very slowly, but it is necessary. So I recommend everybody reads Althusser. You can also read Marina Budik's work, A Virtualized World of Capitalism. It also deals with the same issues, the ideological issues of fragmentation, of us losing the ability to form cohesive ideologies or cohesive worldviews. And I think this is building up on what Althusser has done. She did not base her work on Althusser, but I see the connection. I see how both of them, being Marxists, come to very similar conclusions, coming from very similar premises, obviously, because they're both, again, Marxists. Marxists, but there are tons of people who have done this work in the 20th century, and there are more people who still do this work. I know that Slavoj Žižek did some of this work in the early 2000s. I know he's kind of off the rail nowadays. He's an old man. What do you want? He's had a long, tough life, so give him a break. So maybe let him retire. I don't know. I don't follow his life. I don't know what's happening to him. But I remember in the early 2000s, maybe up to the 2010s or so, he was giving some pretty interesting analysis of ideology. And he's also basing a lot of his work on Lacan, who I talked about, who also talked about fragmentation, but a different type of a fragmentation, apparently, more of a physical fragmentation, even though the fragmentation of the ego was something he mentioned as well. Now, in Marina Budik is talking about the fragmentation that is necessary for the capitalist production to continue through non-capitalist capitalist production. Everybody's favorite phrase. All of this is to say that whether you admit to it or not, you're going to be an ideological subject. And if you fail to do this analytical work and this synthesis work, you're going to later have to come to peace with the fact that you have been played, that you have been manipulated against your will, that you have been compliant without fully understanding what it is you're compliant towards, and then you will most likely regret that you have not done anything, that you have been quiet, that you have been silent, that you have not participated in any kind of a resistance work together with other people. And I'm not calling anyone to endanger themselves. Take care of yourselves, take care of your communities, be very careful, be very mindful. Don't do a lot of activity online if possible. Gather in the physical world, in the material world, in groups together, and scheme and plan and think together. This is going to be the best course of action. And do help people and request help from people to reflect on your ideological biases, on your ideological patterns, because what we're not aware of can hurt us. And we've got to make ourselves aware of all the things that happen in the unconscious mind. And remember, production necessitates distribution, and it also necessitates consumption. So production also as an ideology is going to produce not only the way the goods, the necessities, the commodities are distributed, but also the way they are consumed. And so the same goes for media, because media are products too. You consume something in a certain manner. There is a certain manner that is dictated to you upon the way it has been made. It gives you an underlying current of information, and it's not some kind of a secret or some kind of a conspiracy. It is just using rhetorical devices, appealing to emotions in a certain way, raising one's voice in a certain way, pointing out at a specific thing or a specific event or a specific fact. All of this changes the way we perceive reality. It literally changes the way we're able to perceive reality. So it is very necessary to have more control over this. And in order to have more control over this, we have to practice conscious efforts on doing this work reflectively at all times. So please do it. Let me know what you think. I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first, and I'll talk to you sometime later.